Welcome to the Software Skills course for PlansXpress Module 3. Apologies once again for the delay on this session. Today we're going to be covering the first floor, so creating a level, along with that creating the first floor. So then we have our, two levels stacked on top of each other and a reduced amount of drawing required to create said level. So what we're going to do today is have a quick look at a little handout I'm going to just present to everyone. I'm going to put in the handouts for you. This is going to be this image here. I'll share that on screen. This is my little bit of levels advice. Allows me to describe what we're going to be doing next. The levels on this one do not correlate to what we've drawn so far, so just be aware of that one. We're not working to these levels. And I'd like to describe how this affects our drawing. Now, in illustration 1 on the left, you'll see there that we have a wall at 2325 and a pink line indicating the level at 2325. This means the external wall and the level slice are at 2325, but once we factor in the floor thickness, we're going to end up with an internal height of 2100. When we are working within PlansXpress, we are always working on a floor-to-floor basis. Not sure what we're going to be looking for, always think what the height of the stairs are going to be. What's the top step level? And that's where we're working to. So we'll always make sure our walls on lower levels are always high enough to reach that floor-to-floor level. If you are measuring ceiling heights internally, you need to account for the floor thickness on top of that before setting your wall height. We do treat the floor thickness by default as 225. Allows us for a 200 timber plus some flooring. If I look at illustration 2, I've got ground floor wall too low, but the level is correct. The floor height looks okay, but it will estimate wrong, and there'll be a gap between floors. So you can see there, my wall is 2325. My internal space is 2325, as the wall is now stacking correctly on the level of 2550. So I end up with a space. Just ready to illustrate this. So that's what we're trying to avoid there. On the third illustration, everything is working correct. We have our floor-to-floor height as 2550, meaning our floor-to-ceiling height internally is 2325, what we were looking to achieve to begin with, and our floor height thickness of 225. Everything works out fine, and our 3Ds will stack correctly. Now, within our drawings we've done so far, we've done these to a 2700 height, which gives us an internal wall height of 2.475. What we need to do now is create this 3D box around our level so that we have got something to copy. And it will look something like this, what you see on screen now. You'll have a pink box around your ground floor, and associated to this will be a insertion point or a control point on a corner of the building or known point somewhere on the property where the items stack upon. We'll go a little bit more detail on that as we go. So the first task for this is to go to the Views of 3D tab. In the Views in 3D tab, we will find a Level tool. That will set the base height of the area to be selected in the drawing and a maximum height of walls in the dialog. So we're going to select that one. And the first screen we get is asking us to define this level, this slice of the building on the vertical. So we have our base height of 0, as this is going to be, we're treating it as a floor-to-floor height. We're not looking at and producing anything below DPC on the 3D. There are tricks to produce that though, if you so wish. For now, we're leaving it as floor height, 0, and the wall height of this slice is 2700. Get it right? If not sure, you can always just hover over the walls or double click on them to get your wall heights if you weren't sure what you drew first time. With those items defined, and I've got my level number 1, I'm going to click OK. And my command window is now asking for a reference point. So the reference point is that control point I mentioned. It needs to go somewhere that is the same all the way through the property or can be marked off or referenced. So when you are placing your 3Ds on top of each other, they are in line. Think of the reference point as the hole in the page for a ring binder. If they're not in the same place or aligning, then your pages go all skew with and all over the place. We don't want that. We want it all to be nice and neat on top of each other. The corners on the right, all of them will be suitable because they all appear on the next level, and the bottom left corner also suitable because it also appears on the next level. The top left, not suitable because they will be adjusted. So I'm going to use the bottom left corner. I'm going to move my mouse over the external corner there until it says endpoint or snaps to it. I'm going to left click once. Now it looks like the tool's disappeared, but I have got some active snapping going on. The command window says give first point of box to define level. So the command window again is always giving us a clue as to what we need. I'm going to move my mouse clear of the property because I need to create a perimeter around this. I need to box it in effectively. So I need to be a little bit away. I'm going to left click and then move my mouse. As I move my mouse, I can see a box forming. I'm going to then take this around the property. So I've got the box surrounding it, nothing overlapping and nothing too close to the walls, and then left click to place. And that's that. That's the level created. If you are a bit close and you need to adjust it, you can highlight the pink level box and adjust it slightly if need be. So make it a bit wider, closer, move it off if you've accidentally placed it on top of the building, that kind of thing. Now we've got our 3D preview, which we looked at previously, but the main thing about this section now is that anything drawn outside of this, if I grab another wall, is not shown. Okay, it will not appear. If I extend my 3D box to go around this, it will now appear. It's now part of that level. I move that back in there, and it's excluded once again. If I was to do this like kind of halfway through the building like this, it's going to end up a bit broken. It's only going to manage to get in the ones that the walls that are contacted and items that are within. So it's missing this window. It's missing all of this over here because it's not all the way within that property. Yeah. It's a bit missing. There you go, fix that, put it back to where it was. So that is what the level box can do for us. Initially, it allows us to define what is going to be shown in the 3D and what we want to take control for things like elevations as well. If you've got a particularly busy drawing, so lots of existing, proposed all together on the drawing, that allows us then to just define what we want to show on the 3D. But the other thing it allows us to do is copy that entire level. So the next task, once we're happy with the size of this box around, a little tweak there. There we go, happy with that, is to highlight that box. And once it's highlighted, we can use the menu clicks on the mouse to take that level, copy it, and place a copy on the drawing, but at a different height and with different properties. And it's the very special thing. So if I use the menu click, so the middle mouse or right click depending on your settings, and use the copy selection on that menu, that is a very unique copy paste, as it were. So copy selection, the command window will give reference point request. So I can pick up one of these corners, doesn't really matter which one, because all I want to do is move it to the side, hold shift so things are nice and tidy and in line, and then left click to place. There we go. Now I have another dialog box asking me some questions. So base height, wall height, level number. I'll give you a second to get that far to bring up the dialog box. Okay, so now on the dialog box, the third input is level number. It's level number 2. That's fine. We're on level number 2 now. Level downstairs is level number 1. The wall base height for this is 2700. That's what we need. The base height is always going to be the sum total of the levels below. That way then it knows where on the z-axis, on the vertical, where to place this slice, for it to start. If you make that number too high, you end up with a gap between the levels. If you make it too low, you end up with the levels squishing together. So it should always match the height of the sum total of the levels below the sum total of the walls below. So at the moment, 2700, and if I was to increase with, say, another 2.4 wall, then it would be 5.1. That's how we would be managing that. The wall height for this level is another story, because this slice is going to be thinner. This one doesn't need to account for floor height. It's going to be floor height to wall plate. And I'm actually going to make this a little bit taller. I'm going to make this 2550. Now, fortunately, doing this, just to allow me to be a little bit more lazy, it's also changed the wall height of the external walls to 2550 as I've changed that. That's great. It just means less for me to type. Now, below these settings, we have select items to copy. So external walls, internal walls, stairs. Now, I do want to copy the external walls because we do need them upstairs, but I don't want to copy the doors, and I don't want to copy any openings if I've placed them. I've got the wall height as 2550, and it's automatically ticked remove foundations and footings, so I don't accidentally do 2 lots. On the internal walls, I'm going to untick. I do not need any of the existing internal walls copied upstairs. Now, if you are doing multiple stories and you've got, say, block walls going all the way through, you may want to copy that and continue on through, then adjust them as you see fit. But we'll look at adjusting a wall in just a moment. And we also have stairs. We do want to copy the stairs because we want to be able to see the stairs upstairs so we can see the footprint of the stairwell. Now I can copy them as non-estimated as well, or I can copy them as exploded symbol. Normally, I would go for exploded symbol, but in this case, I'm going to go as non-estimated because I want to illustrate another tool later on, as well as show you what happens when something is still a symbol and then when it's exploded, how it's not. But with those settings there, so just external walls and windows being copied across and stairs set as non-estimated, I'm going to click OK, and that's copied. Now, another little point on this. If you have your floors showing, it will also copy the floor. There's no control for floors copying, so you'd have to highlight them and delete them. As there's no controls for the steels, as you can see there, they have also been copied across. All I need to do now is highlight those and delete them. If I look at my 3D, you can see that everything's copied up, including the rear protrusion on the back. We need to edit that, and the stairs, which are currently in 3D. To adjust this, we just need to delete 2 walls on the back and move some walls around. Now there's a little thing there. I just need to highlight these 2 walls, delete them off. They're in the way, but I need to keep this wall as is sticking out. And there's a way to do this without using any construction lines. I will place a construction line down. So drawing an annotation horizontal construction line like we've used before, and just place it following that wall there. But even without that construction line, we can still pick up this wall here, snap it to that intersection there, where it would be able to detect the intersection and form that corner. And we can select this wall on the left, pick that one up, and bring it down to where it sees that intersection. Even without the construction line, it will be able to see them there as it is. I'm going to delete that construction line and do a save as on this drawing. Right, put this on my desktop. I'm just going to save this one as drawing number 10 and save that one there. Next, I'm going to give everyone a moment to catch up and edit that rear wall once we've got the level copied. Again, if you do have any questions at all, we want to see something done again or repeated, please let me know. I can run through it a second time quite happily. Coffee. Okay, so hopefully everyone's got that section done. I'm going to move on now and place the windows upstairs. Now the windows upstairs will look somewhat like this. Now we've already got one window placed. Now we've got the one over on the very right hand side, as that one was a copy of the one downstairs. We just need to fill in, get the words all mixed up, the remaining ones. Also place one on the front as well. We do have some dimensions for this I can give you. Now the fastest way to bring back a tool, so we don't have to go for the picker, is to highlight something that's already on the page, that is what you want. Again, using a nice left to right selection means I can select that without touching anything else. Menu click and select draw using this specification. Okay, so now I've got a window ready to place. And for this, I am going to be using the justification and the measuring input box to define where everything goes. So I just need to change my justification. Now for this, if I change it to the right, let's see how it looks. Perfect. Now I can measure the distance between the window that's been placed previously and where I want this one to go. But the measuring input is currently on the wrong side. Currently it says 8065 and it says 8065 down the bottom right hand window. Now just to highlight this again, we're always looking down at that section just there to input any information. If I press the tab key, so the one to the left of the letter Q, sometimes it says tab, sometimes that has two arrows that look like that on a keyboard. No, not the best illustration, but still. We press the tab key and it will change over to measuring the other side. And that's perfect. Now my tool is ready to use. My first distance on this one is going to be 990. So in the box down at the bottom left there, 990, so bottom right, I can bring this in, and it doesn't matter if I'm measuring from the external leaf or internal leaf because I'm measuring from an item that's the same both sides, so I can just place. Now the next item is going to be 900. Just type in that box down there and do 900. Use my pen again just to highlight we are typing it. Wow. Just there. There we go. The next one is going to be 1110. So I just type in that 1110. And the final one is 900. Leaving a distance of 685 to the end of the wall there. Now if I drop that tool, I'm just going to grab a linear dimension tool just to measure these distances to put them up on screen for you. There we go. Apologies if you can hear a noisy machine in the background. When it gets plugged in, it decides it wants to take off. Right, give everyone a moment to drop those windows in. And for the final one on the front, I do need to change the justification to left and press tab to measure the other side. And this one should be 440. There you go. They're all visible on screen now. Okay, everyone, just have a minute to do that. Once we are done with that, we are just going to move straight on with getting some internal walls in and floors. First off is going to be the floors. Though you can draw the walls in first if you do need to have any additional supporting items in, but we're going to get the floors down. Right. So I'm going to clear off my illustrations. Oh, does it allow you to draw a staircase with the winders at the bottom? Well, we can have a little look at that actually. If I just edit this one, number of risers in first flight, 0. One. So it all depends on where where the number of risers in first flight. So if you've got 0 or 1 winder, it should just there should be some improvements to the stairs coming soon as well, so it doesn't do quite this and looping around on itself. Yeah, I don't think it likes anything less than 1 going in on the bottom step. Just look at it on 3D. Yeah, it might be just hanging mid-air for mashed a second, but yeah. Is that kind of what you was looking to achieve? Excellent. Yes, it's all just about the number of steps on the first bit. And if I actually get set down to 0, how that looks on the 3D. Yeah, it doesn't work. I keep going back until I get my stairs back. There we go. Hopefully my 3D's still not broken. Hey, back to normal. Yeah, so it's all just about where you numbers you define on that. Right. Now we're going to get some flooring down. Now for the flooring, we need to know where we're going to be putting this floor, and also we need to see the floor. So there's 2 steps we need to do. First off, while I'm on the Views in 3D tab, I'm going to click on the Named Views drop down here. Okay, you should be able to see that on the screen, currently at the top. Named Views drop down. This allows us to quickly turn views on and off effectively. If I go normal, I can say I want all items, so I can see the floors. And if I hit the ceilings, I can hide the ceilings. I can use this also to say I just want to look at all items except floors and ceilings, so I can hide them again. And it's just not just the floors and ceilings, it's also sealants and insulations. It also hides as well anything associated with. I can just look at roof lines. I can look at the walls on their own, which also have the windows in, doors. So a very simplified view with nothing else on there. I could go drainage layout and just have the basic view again, plus any drainage items if I've drawn them. So it's quite a quick way to see the kind of main part of the build. All items except hashing off, turns off the hatching in the walls. I'm just going to go all items. So all items are showing. It keeps resetting my view when I do it, but all items lets me see the floor down below. That's important, because if I can't see the floors, when I go to draw floors, they won't appear. You can be here drawing floors, going right, start, cross, start, cross, start, cross, and nothing will be showing up. You hit show all, show floors, and suddenly you've got 6 floors stacked on top of each other. So it's important to make sure you've got that showing first. The second thing is we need to see where our walls are going, what our floors are going to sit on, what walls they're going on. Now, if I highlight my pink level box and it's the only thing selected, my ribbon will have a level tab. You see there, levels, and on the level ribbon will have an IntelliTrace on little tick box. It's just up there on the top right, above the where it says direction. If I tick that, currently direction says level below. What this means is I can see an outline of all the walls I've placed downstairs. Bingo. Means I can just draw my floors in to the supporting walls downstairs. No guesswork involved. I don't have to copy the walls and then delete them afterwards. I can just see the walls, where they're going to go, and then turn that IntelliTrace off again. So with that done, I'm now going to go straight to my architectural tab. I'm going to go to flooring, and I've got a rectangular suspended floor and suspended insulated timber floor. So flooring, and it's the very top options under flooring. So that one. Now on this, I do get to say if there's end bearing for joists on each end, so just 100 overlap. Width of joists and thickness of floor, so it can draw them in 3D. And work out how many timbers we're going to need. We've got the joist centers. The joists will be represented on the page. So what we're going to be looking for is to achieve this layout here. Okay, so we've got timbers running left to right, top to bottom, left to right, depending on what's the shortest route. We have got options there to have joist hangers, both ends, and boots, I suppose, because you might not know how you're going to be constructing this yet, so we'll just leave that in. And plastered, decorated, insulated, yes. So finish. Now the first thing it wants to do is to give first corner of floor on supporting wall 1. Now this is going to be supporting wall 1 over here on the left. And the first corner is going to be this top corner here. So I'm going to left click in there, take my mouse, you see the line forming, take this down to the bottom left hand corner, left click again, and I move my mouse and I see I've got a line forming across. I'm going to take this and I'm actually going to place it on top of that wall. I can even overlap it if I want to as well. If you overlap it, it looks better on 3D. If you bring it up to the wall, it looks better on the 2D. Just when you do so, you will get the option to draw additional items such as perimeter sealant and trimmers. We're not going to use these yet, so I'm going to click done. Okay, we're going to use them towards the end. But now I've got my first floor placed. If I look at my 3D preview, you see it start going in. And there's a 1 millimeter gap because I made these internal walls 2.699. They're not conflicting. There's not a wall sticking through. If I had made this wall a full 2.7, I'll make it that 2.7 now. Refresh this. It's going to show it through. So 2.699, and I no longer get the conflict. Lovely. Still got my stairs showing. I do need to edit my stairs in a moment. I'll get to them in a second. But I can finish off the rest of my suspended floors. So 2 points to start. So these are going to be like the first 2 clicks basically define how the number of joists, and then this final bar going across dictates the length. Now I could do this one here in one section. I'm going to do this one here, basing it on the gap distance between the wall and that supporting wall there, and take it across. Pick that one up and just run it from left to right here. So you could put a trimmer and go it back to front. There you go. Now I'm not done this middle one yet. I've left that one out. I can look at my 3D preview. There's something else I want to highlight before I go editing the stairs. Where I go and follow the supporting walls, I end up with this gap. Now there's going to be walls sat on top of this, so that won't matter for some of these. But over here, at the top of the stairs, it will matter, because there's going to be a wall over here and then a floor over here. So this wall is going to show up through. So just for the sake of it, I will point out that you can quite happily adjust these, especially for the 3D, overlap them so they appear nice, clean and tidy. There you go. I'm going to undo that a second, just for now, because I want to keep it clear with no overlapping on this. Now, before I draw in the floor for this section, I need to return back to these stairs. Because I've made a boo-boo, I've not done these yet. But I've left them till now so you can see what we need to consider. The floor here is going to go in just here. Now, if I leave this as it is, it's going to be a bit too narrow before we get a door in here, especially for any railing going across the top, some banister. So what we need to do is reduce the length of these stairs, because these are not the actual stairs. These are just the lines we require to be able to see the size of the stairwell. And because these stairs actually form down here, that's the bottom step over there, that one bottom step is not going to be visible if we was on a top-down view of our first floor. So I'm going to highlight these stairs and go to the Modify and Selection tab. Under the Modify and Selection tab, we have an Explode tool. If I click the Explode tool while my stairs are highlighted, they will flash a second and they are no longer a symbol. If I was to click on these, they are now individual lines. If I was to go to my 3D preview, it no longer exists. The symbol has lost its symbol status and can be edited as such. Now, this means I can pick up these lines and move them around and edit them. Now, not all these lines can be deleted off straight away. The ones for the handrails continue all the way up to the top of the stairs. So those ones we need to edit. We can click on them one by one, click on the blue box, pull it back. Click on the line, click on the blue box, pull it back. This is why we practiced some of that line work in the first session, because it does pop up all the way through the software for editing and tweaking things. So I'm going to move those stairs back, because it might be that on this set of stairs, the bottom step's not visible. On some other sets of stairs, the bottom 3 steps might not be visible. So you have to remove a lot more. Now I can get rid of all these little odd lines here with a left to right, pick them up, and these ones on the side can also be got rid of as well. It does leave some gaps here, but I can just pick up that line and extend it over. There we go. Job done, all nice and tidy. While I'm here editing things, I can even turn the arrow upside down. There we go. Edit that round. Double click on the up and say that is down. Reposition that one so it's a bit tidier. There we go. Give it a second to edit those stairs, and then we'll move on to the next bit. Right, now those stairs should be edited. I'm going to go back, grab my flooring tool, just click on the icon since the settings are going to be prepped. If you remember the last one I used under flooring, and with my tool active, I just need to draw in the last two sections. On the last section, I am going to be saying yes to the additional tools because there are some items I need. So first off, with my tool active, I'm going to draw from this corner to down here. Now I might just zoom in because I've got my little line there snapping. Come across and form this first section of stairs between the two supporting walls. On the first additional drawing items, I'm going to click done because I still need to draw another bit of floor. Bring my floor back to tool again. And this time I'm going to go from this corner. I'm going to go right to left because now I've got items I can click on, lines I can line up to, and then I can pull this across to the top step. This time I'm going to say I'm going to draw in the trimmers. The trimmers, they'll ask me for additional draw hangers. I can just click finish for now. And I'm just going to do a trimmer from there to here. Now it wants to continue drawing this as a polyline, so I'm going to drop that trimmer. Say I want to draw another trimmer. Click accept defaults and run this up from there to here. And drop the tool and bring this back. Now I'm going to use the perimeter sealants in a moment, but just to note, if you do drop this tool, so you can click draw perimeter sealant now, I'm going to go back doing it a different way. I'm going to go to the floors, rectangular suspended flooring accessories, because whenever you draw something like this, whenever there's a pop-up that follows afterwards, you'll always find nearby in the menu the accessories, where you'd find things like trimmers, end strap, DPC, sealant. So perimeter sealant to upper floor suspended floor, that's what I was going to be needing to use. Length of sealant, and I just need to draw around the internal space here. The corner to corner to corner, and then just close it off. Again, that's for costing. You don't need to have that there on design, so you can always leave that off or hide it. But it is done. Now, under those options there, we've got a couple that wasn't part of that menu we initially selected, like DPC or floor vents. Those pop up under ground floors. We've also got the option to draw in additional wall plate to sit the floor on, length of wall plate, end straps which we haven't used, and also additional floor joists. Now, additional floor joists are going to be in use in just a moment. We've got the option to draw floor joists in where we want them when we do stud wall. because the stud wall might be landing on a section of floor that doesn't have any supporting joist, so we just drop one in. But I can also do this individually, say the width of it. I can even say this is going to be double width. I can say this is like a 94 mil, so like 100 mil wide or something like that. But for now, I'm going to select this one and say, if I wanted to, I could draw in that joist just there. Or if I go onto here, I can say that is going to be 100 mil joist running up there. I can use that to draw in and cost of items separately. Might just leave that one in there for now. So hopefully that is of use to you. Now, I might show you this last time, but I'm going to show you this as a little trick as well. When your current layer is floor, okay, so if you've just drawn the floor, you manually set it as to floor. If you was to go to drawing lines and pick up a polyline and draw a shape in a polyline, when you look on the 3D, that polyline is automatically filled in because it's got the flooring properties. Now, it's not a costed section of floor, but it's a very handy way where you can kind of sneakily draw in or fill in spaces with floor on 3Ds if you so wish. It picks up the source 3D texture for it. But I thought just illustrate that one there. As a neat little trick you can do to infill things sometimes, especially if you're not needing to cost for them. But now I should have my flooring completed. This now leaves my stud walls and internal doors upstairs. Just to make this a little bit tidier, and since I'm not going to be drawing in any additional joists now, I'm going to go to my 3D box again. And I'm going to turn off IntelliTrace. Get rid of those there as well. I'm going to throw in an additional save at this point as well. Now we've got the floors in. I'm just going to go save as, and just call this 11 for now. Outside of the saving system, but it's a good place to save because that means you've got practice now ready for when you do your doors separately. All right, a little sip of coffee, and on we go. One second. So now I need to get the walls in. The easiest way to do the walls now would be to hide these floors. Now some of these lines can be useful to us snapping across, but just to run through the processes again, I'm going to go views in 3D and all items except flooring. There we go. Now, to draw these next walls in, I've got a couple sections where I might need to copy something that was before. I'll do these manually first. So I'm going to go to my architectural tab. I'm going to go to internal. I'm going to go to stud wall. I'm going to go to the 2.550 high stud wall. Just going to accept these defaults. And the first stud wall I'm going to draw is from this corner here. I need to change my justification. So it's very much like when we did the internal stud wall, internal block walls downstairs. I'm going to run this one front to back. I also got another stud wall that needs to run along the side of these stairs. Now there's two tricks I can do with this one. One is I can put a construction line down there, or two is if I actually draw running from the edge of that set of stairs, I can go perpendicular to this wall. If I drop the tool and say done, because I don't need the item underneath, I can actually just pick that one up and drag it across. So I did make a butcher's of that. No fret. Have a go at it again. Now, if you want to, you can always drop in a construction line on the edge of those stairs to guide you. But I did that without a construction line. Now I've got a couple more lines to draw in. Now these ones follow the same principles as downstairs. Now I've got a couple of ways I can find out where those walls are downstairs. I could bring the floors back, because I need to draw a wall in there, and I need to draw a wall in here, following the supporting walls downstairs. Same as actually how these stud walls here follow these supporting walls downstairs as well. I'm going to go all items except flooring. The other option is I can even bring back that IntelliTrace, so I can highlight the levels box, go IntelliTrace, and I can see those walls there. That one's actually a little bit clearer, so I'm going to use this one. I'm going to go back to my stud wall tool, so architectural tab, click on the stud wall. You can remember the settings I used last, and just draw in these stud walls. Now, there's another stud wall I need to draw in vertically. It's not going to follow the same one here. I'm going to just do it midpoint up. And this one I'm just freehanding to create that shape. There's another one over here that I can just freehand. I'm going to run roughly the same distance to the stairs, run it straight across, and place that one in there. The final one, I'm actually going to turn the IntelliTrace back off again. So you can just see those there. So those ones I've freehanded. All those I've just freehanded. I'm aiming to get a set of walls internally that look like this. Okay, so this is on the page 37. So you're looking in the document. Now, there's another wall to go in just here, but I'm going to put a little bit of thought into this one, because I need to have a walkway that's wide enough, plus I need to allow for any railing that's going to go in just here, any banister. Okay, so at least I need to allow 100. I could use a construction line for this to mark it out, or I could use the reference tool directly on the wall. I'm going to use a construction line initially, just so you can see this one. I'm going to hover it on the edge of that one and press the R key. I'm going to press the distance up. Now, if I needed like a 900 wide door or more, then I need to make sure that I've got at least over a meter, because I need to also account for the 100 mil of the banister. So I could say, press the R key to go up, R key, up arrow, 1100. If I click OK, that's giving me a smaller bath from there. I could move it down a little bit. We'll see how we go with the doors. I've got a construction line in now. I've got 1100 as measured there. It's almost, in line with that one. It's actually very almost sus, but still. That gives me my banister width there, plus a meter for the door to mess around with. That also gives me a meter over here in line with that one, funnily enough. and I got a meter from the top of that one. If I was to go back to my architectural tab, stud wall, and just draw this one in. Now, I need to make sure, again, that my justification, that is my additional floor joist, I need to draw any, so I'm going to click done. My justification sets it so it's on that correct side of the thing. If I set that to right, now I've only got 900. So I need to have that set to left. Again, depends which direction you draw it. So the left-right, it's not something to copy directly. It's more just making sure that the left or right is complementary to your drawing. I'm going to delete that off, delete that, and delete that one off. Now, the final bit to get this ready before we do the roof, which also encompasses the ceiling, is to drop on any internal doors. Now, the internal doors are just going to be some standard panel doors, if I remember correctly. Yep. Now again, it's going to go to the doors, internal doors, and I go just internal door to solid wall. Some of these could be pocket doors, some of them could be fire doors. If you want to mix it up, feel free to do so. I'm going to go internal door to solid wall. Because even at stud, it's still considered solid because there's no double leafs or anything. On the internal door specifier, I might go for a width of 762 and select the internal door 6-panel textured undercoated, 762 wide. Internal glazed doors might not be appropriate because some of these are going to be for bathrooms and bedrooms, so we don't really want, people peeking in. Select that door. And since this is into stud wall, we're going to go no additional opening support required. Click finish. Now I can confirm the items in here. So it's door pre-hung, no. Door furniture required, yes. Set hinges required, yes. How many hinges per leaf? 2. Is door former required? Actually, no, because it's into stud. Cavity closer required, no. No allowance for the lintel fabrication, and I can even zero out number of hours to fit stills and lintels, because I don't need to spend time doing that. If you leave it in there, it's not going to be a huge amount of cost to wiggle around. My reveals are 0, that's fine because it's going into 100mm wall. No pad stones required. Decoration, yes, because it's just going to be a textured wall, textured door, so it doesn't need a coat of paint. Click finish, and I just need to drop these in. Now I'm going to lay these out, set my justification to center. I could go to snapping mode, so press F7 or click the button down the bottom right, and just run these through as per my diagram. I think about direction of opening into these rooms. So again, that one I'm going to have up towards this way, so I've got my banister space and opening into the room. This one as well, placed in the center. Now again, when you have the first initial placement, you can pick the orientation. Now we're going to be saying which way it's going to open. Most people would want the door to open this way. So you go into the room, least obstruction, things behind the door just might stop opening so much, but you can just walk straight in. Most teenage boys will want the door to open this way. So if you're feeling sympathetic, you can go that way. We're going to draw that way for the best looks. And finally, this one, I can place it in the middle. I'm actually going to place it towards the edge of the wall here and go around that way. There we go. Give most space to get into that room. Now there are some other ones down here. Just need to place. There's even one to go into this little room here. Look at that. That is actually spot on. Perfect. What I've drawn. But oh, I could put a smaller door in there because that's just going to be a little cupboard. I'm actually going to keep the full width for now, so I'm just going to drop that straight in. There we go. Could not have drawn that better. Oh, couple mil difference. Couple mil. The horror. Anyway, now we can start working on some aesthetic things because we didn't draw these marked out. They're into studs, so it's not a huge difference. If, not lining up to blockwork or brickwork, but you can, adjust these so you can get them lined up if you want. I move that right out and then in. There you go, in line with each other. So we can just still joggle them about a little bit. We can even move them a specified distance, 50 mil up. You can just shuffle them out until we're happy with their placement. You can even do things like put them right up against another wall like that. And once it's placed, move in the direction a certain amount so they're all universally a certain distance away from an edge. So without having to measure them, you're just abutting them and then shuffling them along until they've landed in the position you want them to be in. Now these ones here have gone right to the top, both of these. I could put that one down to the wall there as well. That would pick me up. It won't let me move it. I can always move it further and place it. There we go. And I can just click on that one, move it down 50 mil. Click on that one, move it down 50 mil. Oh, did I hit? I think I hit delete by accident. There we go. So they're all in line. Those are all in line now. They're all got the same distances between each other on those items. And it actually works out nicely because it means I can fit my timbers in. And I set tidy numbers between each of these and the wall. What have I started with? Yeah, lovely. Those are 82. So with that done, I'm just going to do File, Save As, and call this number 12. And give you a chance to finish off those doors there. Coffee? Yes, please. And give everyone a few minutes to get those doors in. Right. with all that done now, we're going to move on to getting some roof lines on. So we've got exercise 12, drawing the roof. The first roof we're going to do is our lower lean-to roof. Now, the guide for this one does have some more specification for this to help with this, because the roof is the first time we're going to be encountering this tool. For this, I'm going to go to my Roofs and Attics tab. In the Roofs and Attics tab, I've got various drop downs for the roofs themselves, attic tools I can apply to give attic space, dormers and roof openings, so Velux windows and roof lights for flat roofs and such. Also a selection of tools to edit the roof, which we can use in just a moment to make it look a little bit more tidy, make it look a bit smarter. So for this, first thing I'm going to do is going to go to the drop down on the roofs, and I'm going to select a tiled cut roof for this, because it's going to be a lean-to, so I want a cut roof. And I'm going to select a 30-degree cut roof from the menu. Thank you very much.
Oh, careful.
Ah! So I've got my 30-degree roof. I can increase the thickness of the roof structure if I so wish, because I do know that a cut roof will go for 150mm timbers on a lean-to. So I'm going to set that to 150mm. It's not a very big lean-to, not even need 150mm, but that's what it does spec, so I want things to be accurate. I'm going to click next. Got my pitched roof structural information, so joist centers, rafter centers, overhangs, soffit widths, barge board heights, thicknesses of barge board. I'm going to leave these as they are. I'm going to edit the barge board after. There are timber and roof strap details on the bottom left. I'm going to leave these as they are as well. So it's basically ventilators, yes. Tilting fillets support, yes. Cutting allowance per rafter, 300. On the next page, I've got options about flat roof and gable information. Now, I don't always need to use this because I know this is going to be purely pitched. But if I was to be changing my roof to be multi-pitch, let's say, so it went from a pitch to a flat, which you might do if you're doing a crowned roof or the like, or garage with a false pitch on the front, you know, maybe just 3 tiles high kind of thing, that kind of jobby. We can say, oh yeah, well, if we were switching it to be flat roof, yes, it's going to be counterbattened and there's going to be insulated and decorated on the underside, yes. Or if we're going to do gablets, does it require insulating on the infill? Yes, that's fine. Not going to be using them today, so I can just scoot by these. And on the tiling and insulation information, it defaults to proprietaries. So dry fix system. Doesn't necessarily name the dry fix system we're going to be using because it could be one of many. What I will change in here is the spacing of the tile lath, or lathe, which is batting gauge to 0.3. There we go. I have my batting gauge as using for something like lead and double Romans or Marley Moderns. I'm going to click next, and I've got my roof finishes. Now on the roof finish, this is barge board painted. Nope, nope, nope. It defaults to plastics in the software. Roofs, flat roof sections plastered, yes. Gable insulated plastered, yes. Do have gutter details as an optional extra down on the bottom left there, gutter details. I've got the fixings at 100. It doesn't really show, but I can say 0.8 if I was estimating because I want to have more of them, give myself a little bit more of an allowance. And when I'm happy with that, I can just click finish. Now, upon clicking finish, I've got the option of what style roof I want to draw. Now, I can change roofs from one side to another, but there are some that are best suited to be drawn that way from the beginning, most notably mansard and gambrel roofs, because they've got some functions on how they place the wall plates, which is different. Because if you try turning an apex roof into a mansard roof, where it's sitting on the wall plate starts going a bit skew with. So we've got all various options, but we're going to go for the lean-to or mono pitch. Now the lean-to or mono pitch roof behaves differently depending on how it's placed. This is important because if it detects that it's sitting on a wall, it becomes a mono pitch and has bridge. If it detects it's abutting against a wall, it becomes a lean-to roof and has lead work. I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to use the draw rectangular section option, which is the top option. So I just need to click on that one and then click finish. Now it's asking me now to give first corner of the roof. For this, I'm going to start off with this top left corner over here, because it wants me to draw a box diagonally, like the levels box earlier on. So I need a corner to snap into to finish. So that bottom left corner over here is the ideal one. If I was to go the other way, I've actually got no corners over here on the right hand side, sorry, on the left hand side on the bottom to snap into. So I'm getting my left and rights mixed up now. So I'm going to go to the top left, left click once, and then start moving the tool so I can see it forming. You should see there a red box appear. It's following my mouse. And I'll go to this internal corner just there. It's actually illustrated on your document. That being in line with the wall and the wall above, when I left click, should now give me a preview shape of the roof plus where it's overlapping. Now this blue line appears on mono-pitch roofs. On pitch roofs, it asks you where the ridge line is, but on mono-pitch, it wants to know, and the same again for flat roofs, what is the lowest edge of the roof? Where's the guttering going to go? Now I want it to be over here. I can have this roof running, side going all weird one way, have it going that way, and if I have that, just to note as well, if I have that guttering starting there, it will give me mono ridge or mono pitch, because the ridge will be over on the other end, on the outside part of the house, and it will be abutting against the wall all the way up. If I have it here, then I have abutment all the way along the bottom where those steels currently are. Oddly, if I put it down here, it doesn't quite know what to do with the roof itself, because that's an abutment and the gutter at the same time. So I'm going to move this over here. So my blue thick line is appearing above the door. Left click once, and it brings up the additional items. Now the additional items themselves are things like purlins, wall plates, below valley intersections, ceilings. For now, I'm going to click done. All those options exist under the roof's large sloping roof accessories menu. They're all there. Okay. Now, because it can detect a wall along here on that section, you'll notice how it's stopped drawing the roof when it hits that. If I go to the 3D preview, it's butting in nicely. But my roof is a little bit close to the windows above. I've got 1.5 bricks. It's not really enough for an upstand. So I'm going to adjust this roof. Now, looking at this, I've got a couple of options. One, I can make the pitch lower, but I don't really want to. It looked odd for the roof above once I got that one on. And two, I could lower the roof, because this roof is sat on a 2.7 high wall. But the protrusion at the back doesn't need to be 2.7. The wall only needs to be up to the wall plate only needs to be up to the ceiling height, which is 2.475. So I can adjust the height of this roof up or down to suit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the roofs and attics section, and under here there is a edit roof height button. Now the tools I'm going to be using now all exist in this section up here. Okay, big arrow towards it, and the one I'm going to use first is edit roof height. Now if I click edit roof height, it gives me an options. I've got set height relative to the internal leaf of the supporting wall, to the external leaf of the wall, or set height relative to the finished floor level that the level of the roof is drawn on, or set height relative to its current height. And they've all got advantages and disadvantages. The ones I tend to use are the bottom two, height relative to the floor and height relative to its current height. To do what I was going to do on this roof now, I could just say height relative to the finished floor level and say that this roof is actually 2.475 off the ground. The other option is set height relative to its current height, which let's say I could put in a minus figure of minus 0.225. Take it down 3 courses of brick. Either which way will do the task. I'll actually do relative to its current roof height. And I'm going to do, it doesn't matter actually if it's one face of roof or an entire face because it's just one facing. It's a mono-pitch roof. And I'm going to type in there minus 0.225. Take it down those bricks. I could do minus 300 and actually have it slightly lower than the wall plate inside, but I'm going to just do minus 225 for now. Click OK. If I hover over this, you see I get the blue bar appearing over on its lowest facing pitch. Things tend to be controlled by the eaves on the roofs. So click on the eaves and that's changed. Now it doesn't look like it's changed much, but if I go to the views in 3D, go 3D preview. Now if you've got your 3D open doing this, there is a bit of a delay. So beware of that one. But now I've got less of a chunky bit above the door and my wall has a nice good amount of space above the let's say roof and the windows to fit. I'm going to go to my roofs and attics button again, and this time I'm going to go to the edit soffit width button. Now this is the one, it's above the edit roof height we just used. And with the edit soffit width, give that a click. I'm going to go enter soffit width dimension. I don't want to freehand this one. You can freehand it on the page, but I'm going to just define a dimension. And I want to affect only one face of a roof. This is important because if I do it to all sections of the roof, it will affect the section that is abutting the wall and end up sticking into the house. I don't want it to extend into the house. I don't want to affect it. So I'm going to leave it on its own. Plus, the bit of roof above the doorway, the soffit on my eaves, I do actually want to be left as 200. So, one face of a roof at a time. The depth of the soffit I want to be using for this one, I only want it to be enough to cover a bit of barge board down the side and then my undercloak overhang, as it were. So I'm going to have this to be 0.05 overhang. If I click OK on that, it'll ask me now where I want to apply this. And say, if I hover this here, you see it previews where it wants to make it shorter. Same again there. If I was applying this on the back, it'll actually make that wider and stick into the house. I do not want to do. So I'm going to have it on the left-hand side. I'm just going to left click and it's cut that off. If I do the same thing again, click on edit soffit width, it's remembered my settings. So I just click OK and trim this right-hand side. If I go to my views in 3D, it's now much tidier. Lovely. That's what I wanted. Just enough for the barge board. Runs up the side there. Looks nice and tidy. So I'm going to close the 3D preview. Go to the roofs and attics again. Now my roof is at the height I want it to be in size. I can go add those additional features on. So in this case, I'm going to go to the roofs drop down, large sloping roof accessories, and I'm going to go for flat ceiling beneath pitched roof, face of a cut roof. ceiling. It's the very top option. So large sloping roof accessories, flat ceiling beneath pitch roof. Give a sec to find that one. Finish what I was just doing and get that one in. I'm going to go area of ceiling. The only option I really need to worry about here is just where that ceiling is going to land. I want to make sure it's landing at the same height as the floor internally. So that's going to be 2.475. So that's the height of the wall plate currently existing. With that changed, I'm going to click finish. And just need to draw this in. Now I like to start on the top left, come up to the top right, and I like to actually come down to this section here. So it basically, so it meets up. I've got a snapping point just there. One sec. So that way then it overlaps and it doesn't leave a gap where the steels are in the ceiling. And I look at my 3Ds. Take that across to the left, perpendicular snapping point, and then take that up and just say press C to close. So I've got a section of ceiling drawn in. To look at my 3D preview. My ceiling's nice and consistent all the way through. Right. The other thing I can drop in here now at this point as well, if I go to the roofs and attics, drop down large sloping roof accessories, I can go rainwater pipe for sloping roof and length of downpipe. This just needs to know what's the length of the downpipe that's going on here. I'm actually going to make that 2.7, so I've got enough material for this. 2 stop ends, no one for each end of the gutter, because it doesn't know what at the moment how many stop ends or any kind of trims it's going to need for this. Supplied in 4 meter lengths, that should be enough. It wants to know that because if whenever it goes above a height that's above 4 meters, it needs to add in a joiner. That kind of stuff. So length of rainwater pipe 2.7, so enough to go around corners and bits. Click finish. All I need to do is just place the symbol. Now this being a circular symbol, when you place it, looks like it's placed, but it wants to rotate to know which way it's facing. You have the line to indicate a little turret. So we just need to click somewhere. Because it's a symbol, it just behaves each time. And now we've got our guttering finished. So the length of guttering itself is going to be associated with the length of the roof. That's always going to be part of that. But the actual downpipe and outlet and stop ends is calculated by that one little symbol. With that done, I'm going to do a file save as. Call this 13. And we're going to move on to the main roof. The final thing we're going to be doing today is the main roof. Now this one is actually simpler, even though it is bigger. Purely because it's just, we're not going to tweak it like we did with the downstairs one. There's actually less technically that can go wrong. Fingers crossed. Now, for this one, I'm going to go roofs, tiled truss roof, and I'm going to go for a typical truss roof because we've got doing this as a new build. Or even on extension, when you've got main roofs that's straightforward, you may prefer to use a truss roof. So we can draw it in a different way. A couple of other things kind of keep in mind with a truss roof. You can't do vaulted ceilings as well, unless you're using a particular type of a truss. So you might be able to draw in some cut ceilings for vaulted in there, or attic ceilings on a certain level. But there's also, we can get away with having a slightly thinner timber there as well, because just the way trusses are manufactured. It does give us a roof pitch of 40 degrees. I'm actually going to leave it as 40. Actually, no, mine says to set it to 45. Oh, I'll set it to 45. Yeah, I'll set it to 45. Do what the paperwork says. Now, on the next page, I do have pitched roof structural information. There's a couple of things I want to look at in here. Not so much the soffit width or barge board heights. I've got my truss rafter centers at 600s because trusses going at 600s. It's one of the reasons why I don't actually like trusses compared to cut roofs, because I like things at 400s, generally because I'm a roofer and it's harder to fall through a roof at 400s. 600s is far too easy. Big gap. Now, the important bit to note here is if you're costing is number of hours per meter square for gang to build roof. So we've got 0.6 of an hour per meter square. We've got budget cost of trusses and bracing factor. Now, on the budget cost, I might bang that up to 60 to account for the fact that timber costs a lot more now than when this was released last year and the year before. So I could do that. But if I'm running this to be costed and I'm going to be getting them in as a subcontract cost, and I don't want to just have a provisional cost in there to kind of guess with, I can just zero out the budget cost per meter square and just leave the putting it together cost in. The rest, the options, are very similar to what we had under the cut roof section. So flat roofs, gablets. Is there sarking board? No. Spacing a tar lath, 0.3. Ridge, hip, verge fixing systems, defaults to plastics there. That's fine. So I'm going to click next. I'm going to click gutter details on the bottom left to change that to 0.8. Click finish. Okay, back to there and click finish. There we go. Now this time I'm just going to go straight in with an apex roof. I'm going to go draw rectangular section of roof and click finish. And all I'm going to do is going to start top left, move my mouse down to this bottom right corner, left click again. And if I move my mouse around, you'll see that the ridge is being previewed. So if I move it up and down, my ridge is going front to back and I've got apexes on the front. If I move my ridge left and right, my mouse left and right, my ridge is running left to right. I've got my gables on the ends and I've got an up and over roof effectively for this house. This is what I want, so I'm going to move my mouse either to the left or to the right and then left click to place. I do get the draw additional items appear. I'm going to say done for this because I don't need to draw anymore. On my 3D preview, I now have the house starting to appear. There's a couple of other little bits and bobs I just need to drop in before we're done today, but also once we've got the roofs on, I do want to show you some of the other options on how to draw things and what you can edit. Just kind of invite you to tinker. On this, to make this next section easier so you don't have to rely on anything, I'm going to go to the drawing annotation. I'm just going to grab a vertical construction line and just place it on the edge, just there. There's a reason I want a construction line here, because I need to place a corner of my roof roughly around about here. Okay. I'm going to go back to my roofs and attics. I'm going to click on the picture of the truss roof and go apex roof again. Draw a rectangular section of roof and click finish, because this time I need to do the gable at the front. I'm going to click, bring my box in here, and I'm actually going to snap it to my construction line here. Now I could hover over a corner here, like we did with the wall practice, and bring it up in line, but the construction line just makes life a lot easier. Once I've done this, and I know I've got enough overlap to form valleys, I can left click, confirm the direction of my ridge, so up, back, front to back. If I go to the sides, it gives me a mono pitch. I don't want that. So front to back, left click, place. And now I have my valleys. And again, I can click on the draw or the flat ceiling for truss roof on this one, because it's going to be the option that I had under that additional options there. Again, if you did click off this, roofs drop down, large sloping roof accessories, flat roof for truss. I can do this at 2.3 by default, but I want to match it to the underside, so 255. Click finish. And this time, just to make life easy, I'm just going to draw the entire ceiling in one crack. There you go, just follow those corners around. So you to close that off. Don't need to do any more of that, except I do need to do my rainwater pipes. So I'm going to click draw on those. These ones, lengths. Now, for the length of these, and again, I can always go back and come back to these later on if I want to, but I've got a length in there at 2.4. I need to have at least 5.5 for the floor height, so 2.7 plus 255 plus a bit for the edge there. I can go 5.5, I can go 5.7, or even just say 6. Let's give myself 6 meters. That way I've got enough to, for the swan neck to go around. Click finish. And I'm just going to place one up here. I could move it around to the side so it goes around a little bit. That might be suitable there. If that's a good place for this. Oh, I've dropped the tool now. Whoops. I need to go to the large sloping roof accessories now and go rainwater pipe. Do that again. 6. I'm just going to place it here. Bring it back up again. Place it around. Now, the reason why I wanted it placed on the ends is because it allows me to place one just here. And not be in conflict with the guttering from the lower section. Just move them more in line. Could put a construction line in to line them up. I'm just eyeballing them. Get rid of that. I can go views in 3D. All items except floors and ceilings, just to tidy it up. File, save as, and call this number 14. Job done. Now that is all we're going to cover for today. We are now ready for the next session, which is adding detail. We've got our house in now. Look at that. Lovely. But what I just want to show you before you go is some of the additional items you can do under those roofing tools, such as using the make eaves. So if I make an end of this roof and eaves, it becomes a hip. Use on the other side. Now the hip roofs. I go to the make multi-pitch. I've got edit roof pitch, so I can make something so 30 degrees to 35 degrees and so forth there. But the make multi-pitch allows me to change the height of a roof to say 0. Anything below 12 degrees, by the way, becomes a flat roof. And I can say, I'm going to freehand this, click OK, and I'm going to make the top part of this little roof here a flat roof. Make it crowned like this. So there are lots of little functions we can do in here to make this work. Not edit roof texture. Could show you some of the extend tools. There's not really much to extend on this. Extend a roof plane. I could extend this to cover that. That's a good little example. Extending that on the back means I can then go to views in 3D, like dropping a post or something like that. It's non-estimated symbols. I don't want concrete columns. Uh, 2.5 meters. Oh, so close. Move that down. 20 mil. Well, I guess. Yeah, let's put a post in. Yeah. Might want to, yeah, could make it a little bit shorter, but I'll just move it back. There you go. See? So you can use things like extend roof, and that's just combining that with a 3D symbol just to put a post in. And end up with just an ever so slightly different design. So just in a few clicks, I've got not a completely different house. Internally, it's nigh on identical, but externally, aesthetically, very much different. For loft options are now very different, for loft space and loft rooms, but I've got a roof that is capped off, not so in your face, especially if you've got roof height issues in an area and you want to keep it down. You can use this to trim it down, cap it off with a crown. I can extend that little roof along there to become a shelter over the bifold. Hey, there's all sorts of things. When we move to add details, we can always experiment with some of these. This one's on the same height as this, so it's going to just show up like that. But it's worthwhile experimenting, seeing what the tools do. Certain tools appear in 3D, some don't, but just by tinkering and experimenting, you can end up with all sorts of different effects. So feel free to tinker and practice. There we go. Undo the crown, undo the gable, and then we're back to square one. Feel free to tinker, practice, have a look at that. In the next session, we will be looking at adding details to the plans. So this will be elevations to start with, measurements, marking out notes, and if we have time, some additional symbols. Do we have any questions for the last section? Anyone got any questions they want to ask or anything they want to be shown or demonstrated again? I would say it's advisable if you are doing anything on the 3D side of things, have your 3D preview closed when you're doing any work, because unless you've got a more modern machine, it might struggle to do anything while you're doing that. And I say modern, actually a lot of modern machines may not also like it. It is just down to Lol. The only machines I actually found that lets you edit while the 3D's open are AMD machines. Very much newer AMD machines. Even Intel's don't always get this. It's the gaming processors just lets it just work it out on the fly so much faster. And this is not even a new as well. It's a couple of years old, but depending on your machine, I would say keep your 3D closed when doing stuff. Close it, make your changes, open it up, then carry on. You see there my strange pathway on a slope. Wonder if I can do a barge board on this. No, add anything onto there. No questions? Okay. Oh, just to kind of like demonstrate something else as well there as well, I'm gonna just undo that random roof shape. I might even just delete the roof a second in its entirety. So I'm gonna get both of those blings, delete them off. Just to show you something else as well, that when you are drawing roofs, if you're doing either tile or cut, it doesn't really matter. When you pick these, apex roofs allow you to draw rectangles. You might have seen it when we did the lean to monopitch. You can see it under the hip roofs. You can pick up based on what the software sees as a closed circuit, like that. Draw that in based on what it sees. Just drops the roof straight on. Right. It's not good for top roofs, but not so great for the lean-tos on the side because it might try and do the whole lot in one go. But it just means the whole roof is one section. But it does mean you can't control them individually. A good example of this, if I bring the old roof back, is on this front section here. If I was to go to the edit roof height, our entire section of roof, and make it minus 0.5. There you go. I can make this front dormer section half a meter lower, right? And it's flat roof sticks out, but I've got enough space there, but it works. Okay. I'll have to adjust my ceiling internally to account for that because it's now a little slope inside. But I can do individuals separately. If I undo that and delete this roof and drop in the one that's a closed circuit drawn as one go, I'll make that a gable again. If I was to do the same thing of edit roof height, 0.5, you'll see that on the preview, it affects the whole roof, and the whole roof would get done, so I don't have control over it. So there's a difference between ease of doing something and convenience. Sometimes the slightly harder to draw roof is more convenient in the long run for allowing you to edit things. Now, another thing you can do is draw by polyline as well. It's worthwhile just having a little experiment, draw some walls, drop some roofs on, and just see what it looks like. A mansard roof. Initial pitch. Header has a hat. Might seem silly, but there are many houses that not like that. The actual first floor is made like that with windows in it. Give example. Like that. It'll be the you're on the low level. See the changes just now, actually. So, any questions at all? If not, I shall leave that there as is. Bid everyone adieu. And see everyone on Tuesday at 10 again for the elevations and other items to draw on there, so placing some 3D objects on there as well. Now with the elevations, it's going to be a tool that you can use frequently when designing as well, because it lets you just kind of measure things off if things are not quite level. I shall see everyone then. Thank you for attending today. Any questions? Give us a call or drop an email over. Thanks. Bye.